Okay, of course my connection would be unstable. Please wait while we Rico, whatever. It is raining out, and the internet I have is satellite, and so that never really works out too good with the weather. And plus, I live back in the holler, in which case, yeah, trees all around, the rain going. And the internet likes to act up then. So I'm sitting here, got my coffee, and see if anyone is going to get on the chat here. But I don't have a big talk planned, let's say. The world is burning. We all know it. Let's see. What did the old cell phone just say? Oh, okay. InfoWars posted on Parler. Flashback video. Alex Jones exposed China's mass organ harvesting in the 90s. China's a messed up. They're a messed up country. And I've known people that are from China. Like, I mean, I met them. I served with some of them, and I served with several people from Taiwan, which is not China, and several people from Hong Kong. And you know, America's not. We're not far behind, I don't think. But here, I'm just living life. You know, this whole election deal, I've kind of been following it. And I'm at the point, we all know, or everyone in my circle knows, unless they've got their eyes closed, they just won't want to hear about it. That this great reset is a potential thing, and that they're trying for that. And we all know that the election was stolen. And you know, so we, at least in my circles, we all know this. I mean, it just was. But what can I do about it? Hey, how you doing, brother? Like I said, I mean, we all know that the election got stolen. And we all know, if you heard that noise, that's the dog. You know, and I know that this COVID thing is a load of horse hockey. I mean, I know it is. Oh, no doubt. And I'm not a gigantic. I mean, I voted for Trump. Yeah, I had to unplug. I just kind of, you know, the world is burning, and I had to get out and concentrate on what I can affect, and that's kind of what I'm getting at. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's if and here's the thing: if we let them get away with what they did, I mean, so it's so blatant. That's the thing that irritates me so much. It's like with Epstein. We all know Epstein didn't kill himself, but I don't see any freaking pedos hanging up in the middle of the street. Uh, I and or hanging up on pikes. I don't see any of that. Um, and I don't see anybody getting tarred and feathered. Um, so what do we do? And so, like I said, I had to unplug, and oh no, Epstein was just the patsy. Yeah, I mean, I want to see these guys get sent up. I want to see them at best spend the rest of their life, getting raped by Tyrone in prison somewhere. I mean, I want to see them. I want to see justice served for these kids. Um, and I don't. I truly believe that the pedophiles and the pedophile ring, and I think, and you can disagree with me. People can disagree with me that these the like one thing that the Trump administration and that there's been a lot of people and the Homeland Security and a lot there've been a lot of arrests made and a lot of kids have been saved um, in this administration, or at least it seems like to me, and so I'm happy about that, but it's still a horrible thing, and I want to see some people. I want to see some justice served. Um, and now going back to like the election, I mean, what can I do about this election? I mean, obviously, I'm on this platform, as small as it may be, and I'm trying to make my voice heard. Um, I'm trying to make my voice heard, but it's that's not enough. Um, I suppose I could, you know. Oh yeah, yeah, completely, completely derailed. That's all right. But yes, I have eaten the pickled ramps. They are phenomenal. And I gave a couple of the littler jars to some family, and they put them on hot dogs. Um, like instead of kraut or slaw, they put those with with their hot dogs, and those things are delicious on hot dogs. I put them on the deer burger because now see my family, like me, my household, we don't really eat beef. Um, deer season is a big holiday for us for the reasons of that's what we eat throughout the year. But yeah, pickled ramps on a burger, it's on point. Um, and I've got the recipe written down, but it's basically I can't. I've got it written down. I'd have to look it up, but it's like a little bit of sugar, a little bit of salt, vinegar, like 2 to 1, I think, vinegar and water, and then oregano, thyme, and I think that's it, but I don't remember for sure. Um, uh, but Now I have completely gone off the rails. But yeah, deer season has been fairly successful this year. I've got enough deer meat to get me through the year. Um, and there's, other than today and 2 more days, so Saturday, Sunday, I, is the last 2 days of buck or doe in West Virginia for rifle season. There is also, there's several other seasons after that. There's like a week of doe only. And if I go out again, um, I'm not now because I don't need the meat and it's raining and I don't want to go. Uh, I don't want to go into the woods and sit in the rain when I don't need the meat. If I kill another one, it'll be just so we've got something to play around with, make jerky and that kind of stuff. Um, but I was kind of, now that I'm on the topic of food. I was pretty proud. Me and the wife, pretty happy yesterday. Um, our dinner came entirely from the farm, with the exception of the pasta. We had pasta with homemade um, pasta sauce that we made from stuff from the garden. And then I browned a pound of the uh, um, I should have filmed. Oh, yeah, filmed. Yeah. uh, but yeah, with the that and then the meat sauce. Well, the meat was deer burger, and then green beans from the garden. So pretty much everything but the pasta came from the farm. And we're working on making our own pasta. So that's a that's a goal. um, but yeah, yeah. When it comes to time to processing deer, it's kind of an all hands on deck event at the family. Um, my brother, he doesn't have his own property to hunt on, but he comes out and hunts on me. And my parents, they've got their own property to hunt on. My father-in-law, he comes out and hunts on me. But really, my blood family, brother, his wife, me, my wife, mom, dad, we all kind of come together, and we're all we're all busy hunting uh, whenever we can, and that's been the one thing I mentioned on the last live stream, but I've been laid off since Veterans Day, and that's the one good thing about being laid off is I've had basically 2 weeks to do nothing but deer hunt. Um, and yeah, it's like, but with me trying to film doing stuff, I should have filmed messing with the ramps, but by the time I got them all done, it was just not. Uh, yeah, I just by the time it was just such a tedious, and that's the problem with the ramps. Is such cleaning the ramps was such a tedious process. I'm assuming when you said I should have filmed it, you're talking about me process, pickling the ramps. Um, but cleaning cleaning the ramps is just such a tedious process. I mean, especially because where they harvested them really young, They would have gotten a lot bigger, but yeah, I really do. Um, yeah, yeah. To me, it's just kind of old hat. Um, I didn't know someone had downvoted it, but I only see with the way it is. I only see the. Hey, outvoted. That's we weren't outvoted. I'm to quote Guns Coast to Coast here. We were not outvoted. They just stole the election. I did watch a recent. You're interested in the ramps. How much are you like? How much do you salt in prepper? Okay, now this is. But how much do you know about the about ramps, if anything? Um, but yeah, a fixed election, prepper god. Now this is something interesting. Um, it shows that I have 0 people on the chat, or well, one, two. Okay, now it says 2, and now, um, say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so hello everybody. Prepper Satan. That is an interesting name. um, well, I believe you that I have 7. My uh, my screen is only showing 6, but I will believe you because YouTube is stupid sometimes. I'm not entirely sure what's going on here either. Um, I am rambling at this point, and Mr. Wes S. I don't believe we have spoken, but all right, I'm gonna roll into the ramp discussion. They're a wild leak, um, kind of a cross between onion and garlic. Um, they grow pretty heavily in the Appalachian Mountains, um, and so that would be my region. And they're in West Virginia. They are huge. Oh yeah, when I yeah, Guns Coast to Coast. I have, yeah, I have transplanted them because they were not. They they grow more in mountains. I live in more of the foothills, and a lot of farms have them, but a lot of farms don't. My property did not have them, so when I got the chance at them, I I y'all getting me derailed now. It's easy to do for me, but Wes. We can talk about trucks. I drive a truck, um, but yeah, they grow wild. But I transplanted some on several parts of my property. They grow in near the no um I am wondering if that is a word, Wes, that I just don't know, or if if you just misspelled vegetables. But but we'll talk about vegetables. But yeah, they like to grow in where they've got a good source of water and in a semi-shaded region. Um, I don't have anything right here to show you, but you can look them up. And they're really big around here. A lot of people cook them with potatoes. And like I said, they are kind of a cross between, taste wise, kind of cross between an onion and garlic. Very, very distinct flavor and very, very distinct smell, especially if you eat them raw. Again, when ramps are in season and I go digging for them, I will eat those things until my sweat smells like ramps. Nah. They are a type of wild leek that is very similar in taste to a like a hybrid of garlic and onions. You smart ass. uh, so that's about the extent of what I have to. Oh yeah, they come in the spring. For anyone who's nearby, like in the spring, they're usually pretty easy to spot when people go digging for them. uh, but they're usually some of the first green things that show up. So, what's everyone want to talk about? I know Wes here has voted for jumping trucks or motocross, but my motocross discussion would be very, very brief because that's not something I know a whole lot about. Crow's poison, that is interesting. I've never heard of that. Um, so you don't, yeah, ramps. That's uh, Appalachians, I think. I know they grow up as far as like New York, but they're pretty heavily regulated on harvesting them. Don't eat the onions that taste like grass. Well, I'm assuming you're talking about wild onion, and we have wild onions around here, and I've eaten them just fine. Uh, although you could be talking about messing you up as far as your luck with the opposite sex, but I'm married. She's kind of stuck with me, so I don't worry too much about that. uh, so, uh, yeah, I really just will talk about whatever. Anybody got a topic? Pick those. Okay, the crow's poison. So I'm assuming what you're saying is this crow's poison, which I'll have to look that up. Is a plant that you can put in grain and use to actually poison crows. um, that's I'm guessing. Alrighty, bud. But so right now Okay. 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 I see what you're saying. Yes. I will be with a lot more people than I actually want to be for Christmas. Uh, guns. I will be with. We usually go to my in-laws for Christmas morning, and then my family for Christmas evening. And yeah, the church never stopped meeting. We went outside. There's a big parking lot, and so we set up. There's a big parking lot by the church, so we set up and did what they call drive-in church, and someone pulled a flatbed trailer, and that's where the song guy and all that. And the preacher and everybody just had a little sound system set up there, and everybody drove their cars in and parked them in the parking lot, and we someone, I don't know how they did it, but they had one of the like public access radio stations, and they kind of tied into it, and so you just tuned your radio to certain station, and you could listen to what was coming on through the speakers. uh, oh, good stuff. But but yeah, no. I'm gonna be around a lot more people than I would like to, but that's not for any reason other than family. Well, in-laws. uh, that's the thing they don't really tell you before you get married is when you get married to her, you're also kind of stuck with her family. So, uh, nah, you're good, man. Um, uh, I am easily derailed, so I'm I'm a one track mind. So, I guess what you could say is I'm easy to mess with. But so I don't know. I like sitting here drinking my coffee and just have a little chat. I got a pretty nice dough uh, last night. That was interesting. We'll talk about that. And yes, before you say anything, Wes, I will be waiting on Christmas Eve with the old 308, looking into the skies to get some fresh reindeer, maybe. My bell is unrung. Okay, you've seen my channel before. Yeah, I have the tendency in my channel, I'll admit, to I'll make a lot of content and then I kind of disappear for a couple of months. um, and this is me coming back off of one of those couple of months. I had to take a breather and kind of get away from technology because the world is burning, and I had to have to concentrate on what I can handle. And I was um, not. I was so concentrating on the fact that the world is burning that it was not good. But it was pretty interesting. Your deer got ran over. Well, you know what? Peterbilt, there probably wouldn't be much left, but I have picked up roadkill deer before, so it's a, that's a kind of a thing. I yeah, in the days when I ate rabbit, I I picked up more than one roadkill rabbit, but the old 308 busted that doe. Oh, is it really? Picking up roadkill's illegal in Texas? Huh. That is not something I would expect. Yeah, it is kind of encouraged. In fact, I have well, guy I went to school with, um, his dad would take a cooler with him in his truck, and he drove like an hour and a half to work and an hour and a half back. And if there was roadkill that was gotcha. But if there was roadkill, and it didn't matter, as I mean, possum, coon, whatever. He, if it hadn't been there the night before, like if it was fresh, he would pick it up and throw it in his cooler. And on the way home, unless it was just stupid hot and bloated, he would uh he would pick it up on the way home and put it in the cooler, and then they'd clean it up. It didn't matter, deer, possum, coon. That's a good portion of the meat that they ate was roadkill. Um, and and it was interesting because like he actually had a pretty decent paying job. It wasn't like he was, I mean, it wasn't like he just worked at a 7-Eleven, making minimum wage. He had a nice job, government job with benefits. But but he would pick up roadkill on his way to and from work. It might help if I open that. But yeah, people hunting with their brush guards. I've been thinking about putting a brush guard on my truck. Although I drive, yeah. The extent growing up, like we never ate, or I never ate that my mom cooked, um, possum or raccoon. And the possum is as much because my dad has seen, he had an issue with it, and let me tell you, any animal that you go up to a cow that's been dead for a couple of weeks and you see a possum crawl, you see it's moving, you kick it, and you see the possum crawl out the hole that used to be the cow's butt. I don't really want to eat it. But now my mom would cook squirrel, but West Virginia has an actual squirrel season. But mom would cook squirrel, but she wouldn't eat it. And we would do biscuits and squirrel gravy, but my mom would also make tomato gravy, so she had something to eat. And I would eat the tomato gravy too. But the story goes, mom was a city girl. Dad grew up in town, but he spent his weekends a couple counties over. His weekends and every summer a couple of counties over, working on his grandparents' farm. And so he was kind of, he was a country boy, and the only way that he got my mom to shoot squirrels when they were squirrel hunting was by saying they're just a big rodent. They're just a rodent lives in the trees. They're like a rat, and which is true. I mean, they are a rodent, but so now Yeah, she won't eat them. She won't touch them. She'll cook them for us, and I did used to eat a lot of squirrel, and I liked squirrel brains. That was probably my favorite part of the squirrel. But yeah, it's probably like most old country boys. Their mama could probably throw a dog turd in a stew pot and make it taste good. But right, King. Well, most of them I don't mess with. Well, actually, all of it mentioned I don't eat anymore, but there are some that I would have eaten for sure, and some that I do not. I probably wouldn't have unless I was really hungry. But now squirrel brains are like they taste like oysters, and squirrel brains you clean up the skull, and we would have to really clean it up and make it look less like a rat because when you skin a squirrel, the head looks like a rat skull. But we would, uh, yeah, you have to take the jaw, everything. Yeah, I eat clean. Um, I eat clean now, and nothing with paws. Um, but I mean, I miss. I really at that time enjoyed a lot of what I would eat. But now I don't eat it anymore. But squirrel brains, hard boiled, they tasted like oysters. That was the best that I had, comparison wise. Um, and I'll tell you something interesting. I ate when I was overseas. I don't know if you can read the cap or if you noticed, but I was in the Navy, so I was spent most of my time over in Asia. Japan was home port, all around Philippines, Singapore, Indonesia, Malaysia, all over the place. But one food that I ate that was okay. I know of. I follow both of, or yeah, all three. Um, uh, yeah, 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 I follow those channels. They're actually the ones that, Pastor Joe is, his sermons on the Shofar Mountain uh, channel is actually what got me started looking into it. He seems like he would be. I mean, I've never met him personally, but he does seem like he would be a good guy, a cool guy to uh, talk to. Um, and I was looking into moving into that area, not necessarily where they're at, but into that area, um, Kentucky, Oklahoma, Missouri, that the Ozarks. Uh, and you know what? The father said, "Stay where you're at and get things ready for my people here." So that's what I've been doing. I mean, and, they say over on that channel, come out of her, my people, from Revelations. But I'm in West Virginia. But they say to come out of her, my people, and get out of Babylon. But I'm not really in Babylon. I'm in, I live in the sticks. My state has barely more people than the city of Columbus, Ohio. Like West Virginia has 1.8 million, or it did as of the 14 census. And yeah, and Columbus, Ohio, the like in the suburbs around like a 20-mile radius has 1.7 million. So yeah. Yeah, we would call that BFE. BF Egypt. Living in nowhere. Yeah, but it's kind of the deal. I grew up gardening. My family's got heirloom tomatoes and heirloom green beans that have been in my family. I'm the seventh generation. Yeah. West Virginia, I don't know what the size of all the counties is, but there's only 3 counties in West Virginia that have 100,000 people. So, I encourage good, believing, good, Bible believing Christian, whatever you want to call it, and preppers. I encourage them to come to West Virginia because it'd be a good spot, right? Well, as long as you stay away from the panhandles. West Virginia has 2 panhandles, and so our state kind of looks like a middle finger. Stay away from the panhandles and you're good to go. Because the panhandles, you get where they're kind of more like northern Ohio and Pennsylvania, and then a little too close to DC for me. On the eastern panhandle, but I'm sure it's like Texas as far as your Dallas and your Houston area. You get too close to them, and it just wouldn't be good. Yeah, yeah. I stay out of town. I think the nearest town to me has less than 40,000. Like I said, even our capital city doesn't even have 100,000 people in it. So, population is great. And I've been trying to get a couple of my buddies to move here. Guys that I served with. One of them, Seventh-day Adventist, who's living down in Florida now. I can't remember where in Florida, but he's living down in Florida, which is a interesting escapade. But we don't worry about Antifa here. We don't worry about BLM. Not even just here where I'm at, because I live in farm country, and I mean there's a bunch of houses that you can see on the road. I mean, it's not like it's one on top of the other, but there's houses, and everyone kind of houses are close to the road, but it's not even that I live there, but everyone's got a farm. Everyone has property. So, so some good stuff. Oh, got the Rona. Not really. But But yeah, the capital city would probably be the closest to me, and I don't even know how many people live there. But like I said, there's not even 100,000. There's like 100,000 people in that whole county. So, um, it's nice. Alrighty, yeah, I will. I will if I got the time. I'll probably be working up deer meat tomorrow night. But I oh, that's a good place to go to the gun store. But you take her easy, Wes. Um, let's see. Anybody who's in on this chat, which I know it's kind of just been me and Wes Sess talking here for the last little bit, but let's see what else we got going on. For now, I'll just talk until someone gives me something else to talk about. Let's see, another discussion. But so the birds are doing good. I've got I know I've talked about them anyway, but we have some white leghorn hens, and um, I have a black Australorp rooster, and his job right now is, I'm pretty sure it's an Australorp, because I looked at him on the picture, and I looked him up um, on the computer. Like I looked different breeds up on the computer, and that's what I'm pretty sure excuse me, he is. But they are incredible egg laying machines. Um, the Australorp will eventually be uh, actually be used for breeding. I mean, he's breeding them right now, but eventually we're going to hatch some eggs, and I'd like to see what a white leghorn Australorp cross would look like and how it would produce egg and meat wise. Um, but just about every day, I've got 5 birds, and just about every day I got 5 eggs. Yesterday they only gave me 4, but that's okay. One of them takes a day off every so often. But that's one good thing. It's like, hey, I've got protein here. I've got eggs. So there's that. And we eat a bunch of eggs too, right? Well, you have to. And I've got like 5 more birds that are at. Yeah, no, I don't think I'm going to be having any ostriches. Eventually, yeah, no ostriches. Australorp, Australian chicken breed. But all right, well, you take care, bud. I'll be on here for a little bit longer, but I got stuff to do too. So you have a good one. But the what's the word? Yeah, the Australorp. Yeah. Now I got myself derailed. But the yeah, I've got some black stars that I need to build another house for them, and black stars, and I can't remember the other breed name. It's a breed that the hatchery made, like it's their special breed. They've got and Murray McMurray Hatchery is where we got them from, but eventually my goal is to be able to, at least for a little while, without having to buy new roosters, is to be able to keep myself in egg and meat birds. But the black stars are a brown egg layer, and then the other breed is a blue egg layer, and then the white leghorns are a white egg layer, which a brown egg tastes just the same as a white egg, and so does a blue egg, or a green egg. They all taste the same. But so I'm working on them right now. I've got to finish a chicken coop for the other ones because I've got them at a different farm, because I didn't have room for them at the time, because you can't throw brand new chicks in with full grown chickens because they will kill them. And eventually I would like to get sheep and goats. If I get cattle, if I don't get, I want goats for sure because they're brush mowers, and this is just a goal. This is just a goal, but goats are good brush mowers, and that's the purpose for them. And then if I got cattle, it would be like the Dexters, one of the miniature cattle breeds, I think. Just because I want something that I can butcher myself, and there's no way I can really adequately butcher a normal sized cow. So, well, anyway, thanks for everyone who took time out of their day to join in. We've been on here for almost an hour, and I am almost through this cup of coffee, and probably have some birds that are ready to get their scraps. So everybody who is on here, if anyone still is, y'all have a good one, and I'm gonna get out of here. Take her easy.